Hey there, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games at the table like this one right here, Goats and Goblins. It's a new push your luck card game by BA Games. So, goats continue to escape, and some have fallen down this cave. You and the other players play as goblin goat herders, and now you're tasked with going down to that cave to get your goats. But wow, gold, gems, and trinkets are also found there. So as goblins, your new plan is getting more gold than your fellow goblins. You will be doing this and deciding how deep you want to go down. Others will decide if they want to go down with you or decide not to go. But whoever decided not to go can play cards to try to sabotage your efforts by shoving you deeper down into the cave. If you get 3 cave-ins, those that agreed to go on the journey will come back with nothing, and the others gain the rewards. But if you manage to not get those 3 cave-ins, then you share the rewards with all those who came along to your journey, with you for your journey. So let's get deeper into this one. So you start with a push 2 card, a seeing stone, and a vote card. And all cards that you gain throughout the game are placed face up for everyone to see, so no hiding any information. The first player makes the cave deck for the game by randomly taking a number of exploration cards and cave-in cards, and doing this according to the number of players playing in the game, shuffling those together and removing a number. This would be maybe 6 cards total, or 5 or 4, depending on your player number. The remaining is then shuffled into a big deck called the cave deck, and you will play the game with this deck. The cards removed cannot be looked at, as there is not any card counting in this game. No card counting in Goats and Goblins. So now you want to gain cards that have treasure. Goats can be worth points if you end with an odd number of goats, and other goblin cards can be worth points if you end with an even amount. But you might find some useful items as well to use as actions throughout the game so that you can get more treasure. The cave leader declares how far they want to go into the cave to explore, or how many cards they want to flip over, with the lowest number being 3. There is no cutoff on how many cards you can declare, but the higher your number is, the higher your risk that you will cave in and leave with nothing. After this number has been declared, all other players will then secretly take their vote card and vote either in, meaning you will join them and share maybe the treasures, or out and only gain treasures if those that go inside the cave cave in. The cave leader is always in. After everyone has decided, the vote cards are then shared at the same time. For a cave-in to occur, you will need to get a cave-in value of 3 or higher. Remember, there might be a certain amount of cave-in cards in the cave deck, but cave-in cards come in values of 3, 2, and 1. So if you flip over a cave-in 1 card, you are still in. That's until a cave-in 2 card is drawn, and that equals 3, and well, that's it. You cave in now. Now, also remember those push-in cards everyone starts the game with? Well, each player can decide to use these cards at any time to make the team draw more cards to potentially cave in. And you will encounter other actions to do some similar things as well, like help cards or other cards to try to make that group fail. There is no turn order when playing these cards, as cards are played, which can become hectic, but any number of players can play any number of cards, and you will resolve cards from newest to oldest. And even when resolving, more cards can be played, maybe after resolving half of the cards, but again, you will resolve the newest to the oldest. So after you know if players are in or out, then cards are drawn one at a time from the deck until they reach the declared number of cards or reveal a total of 3 or more cave-ins. You should know that as you draw cards, the effects on those cards are only activated if the cards are played by a player, not when they are initially revealed from the cave deck. Someone will gain them when they are revealed from the cave deck, and then they're able to play them. Once all cards have been drawn or played, if there are less than 3 cave-ins, the exploration has been a success, and the cave leader splits the drawn cards equally between them, and the other players who joined in with them. They are dividing up the number of cards, not the value shown on those cards. The cave leader decides who gets what cards. If there is not an even amount of cards, then the cave leader chooses who gets the extra cards evenly. If the total number of cave-ins comes to 3 or more, the exploration is a failure and ends immediately with no cards being drawn. Further, failure can come from a single 3 cave-in card or from a combination of cave-ins that add up to 3 or more. The cave leader then takes the cave cards and randomly distributes them equally to all players who voted out. Again, dividing by the number of cards, not the value shown on the cards, because it's random as well. They don't know what the values are. Again, if there is extra cards, the cave leader decides who gets the extras. After all cards have been handed out and the cave leader then passes their cave leader card to the next person to their left, and that player becomes the new cave leader. The game then continues until all cards from the cave deck have been drawn. Once all cave deck cards have been handed out, players will then count the number of gold coins that they have in front of them, and whoever has the most wins the game. And well, that's Goats and Goblins, a push your luck card game that takes less than 30 minutes to play, but it's not just a straightforward, see how far you can push it game, because others can make you go further, or maybe, you found a card from your previous spelunking trips that will cancel out their cards, that they're trying to hurt you with. But the overall basis is there is 19 minus an unknown amount of cave-in cards that are different values in that deck. But you just don't want to get 3 cave-ins while you're doing this. This could be the first card, or it could be, if you choose 8 deep, for example, it could be none of those cards. Or maybe you just get 1 or a 2 cave-in card before hitting your number. Then you're a success still. The next layer is that some players will join you and others will not. This is almost like forming a team for that turn. Those who joined want you to be successful, but, want some cards in return. Obviously, these cards will be the bottom of the barrel type cards, but hey, they might be useful to them, and they just want cards. The others who do not join in either think you will not make it or will try to make it so that you don't make it. Either way, if you fail, then they gain the treasures. At times, you don't know which way things will go, but if you are the only one who did not join, for example, then you might gain a goat load of cards. If you gain, or join in with everyone else, the cards will be split evenly and you might only get a card or whatever, depending on what the value they said of how many cards that they want to draw. So really, you are never on anybody's team, but just trying to figure out the best way to get cards without knowing if, the other players will be going in or out on, their turn or someone else's turn as well. Ultimately, it's a silly, fast, fun game that can use some strategy, but mostly kids can compete with adults and vice versa without knowing, that a specific person will definitely win the game. The theme takes on something I've never seen, goblins that herd goats. And of course, as a goblin, you love treasure, so now you're competing to get your goats back, to find more goblin friends, and also to get that treasure. And yes, there's always treasure. My kids absolutely love push your luck games, which can bring lots of excitement, but also some sadness at times here and there when things don't turn out their way. But hey, they have enjoyed Goats and Goblins, and for myself, it adds in a little bit more player interaction, than a lot of other push your luck games do. So it's a very sociable game. Again, it's Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table like this one here, Goats and Goblins, a push your luck card game by BA Games. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to make videos like this one so you know if these games here are ones that you want to get to your own table.